already know that he has speed, he's got power. I know he's moving up in weight class, can he carry it? But those intangibles, I believe that he has them.
Look at, and then Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, and he can look bigger in. Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always a difference. When you get that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin. He fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference.
Too fast and too smart for Canelo. Even Canelo is a good boy. I'm not saying nothing from not taking nothing from Canelo.
The upcoming Canelo versus Crawford bout is being hailed as the biggest showdown of the year, with Teddy Atlas offering his straightforward analysis. Atlas believes that Terence Crawford possesses the necessary qualities to come out on top no matter the weight division. He commends Crawford's technical skill, discipline, and ability to adjust during fights. On the other hand, Atlas feels that Canelo Alvarez is not the same competitor he used to be, suggesting the Mexican star has lost the intense passion and determination that once defined him. Atlas points to Canelo's recent performances as evidence of a decline, and even considers him overrated when compared to Crawford. In his view, Crawford's sharpness and motivation give him the edge going into this match.
That the urgency's not there, the fire's not there. At least it wasn't there a week ago. At least I say that. It wasn't there a week ago. Maybe it'll be there now. Maybe he's the kind of guy that, and I get it, that at this point in their career, it has to be a big fight to get up. That Canelo can't get up for these fights. He couldn't get up for that fight. All right. If you want to go down that road, go ahead. But my road is still possible. That he got old, that it just doesn't have that fire no more. Oh my God, I'm going to say this one. That maybe he's a little overrated. I listen, I know he's tremendous. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? If you look at some of his biggest fights, the fights where you had to be great to win, that you fought great fighters or near great fighters. You could make the argument that he lost the first Triple G. He didn't embarrass himself, but he got a draw. Second one, you could make the argument he lost that. I know it was a different kind of fight, and he got better. But you could make that. You could make the argument he lost to Lara. He did lose to Mayweather. You could make the argument it was too young in his career. Maybe. Although it wasn't that young. He turned pro when he was 15 or 16.
Mean Machine, a fighter who has faced Terence Crawford in the ring, firmly believes that size won't be the deciding factor in Crawford's upcoming bout against Canelo Alvarez. He emphasizes that Crawford's skill set is on another level and that his ring intelligence gives him a significant advantage over Canelo. According to Mean Machine, differences in weight and natural size can't bridge the gap created by Crawford's superior ring IQ, adaptability, and timing. He considers Crawford to be one of the most strategic fighters of his era, capable of making adjustments during the fight and breaking down opponents regardless of their physical strengths. He highlights Crawford's ability to control the pace, distance, and rhythm of a match, factors that often outweigh pure size. Ultimately, he feels a fight favors a competitor with the sharpest skills, which in his view is Terence Crawford.
No, it's not good for Crawford. Canelo's too big. Right now, my position changed. I think Crawford is too fast and too smart for Canelo. Even Canelo is a good boy. I'm not saying nothing from not taking nothing from Canelo, but the way when you say he's too big, when you see Usyk fights and what Usyk did to the big guys like Joshua and Fury, so the size and that doesn't matter. I think the skill level matters, and Crawford, he gained weight, but I think he's gonna be even faster, and his head was good in the ring. He's boxing IQ just on top. So I would say 50-50, but right now I'm kind of leaning more to Crawford.
And that's just because of what you saw Usyk do?
It's not I'm just giving an example. Size doesn't matter in the boxing. When they say Canelo is big and he's fighting 175, 168, and Crawford just moving from 147, 154. So I'm just putting an example that size doesn't matter, and that the fighter makes the fight. I think it's just that I see that Crawford's training and that he's big too right now. So he gained weight, but not like, and lots of people gain weight like that sloppy weight, like I would say like fat, but he gained, like, he looked like strong, massively strong. So I think it's gonna be a good one.
How did Terence feel physically when you faced him? Like, how is his strength? Because yeah, a lot of people do make the point that Canelo's just maybe too big, too powerful for Crawford.
Crawford, I wouldn't say like his punches was like super strong, but his timing and accuracy is what makes difference.
Mean Machine draws an interesting parallel between the upcoming Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez fight and Canelo's 2013 matchup with Floyd Mayweather. Back then, Canelo was younger and less experienced, and Mayweather outclassed him with superior speed, defense, and control of the ring. Mean Machine believes Crawford can employ a similar approach, using movement, accuracy, and smart counterpunching to frustrate Canelo and neutralize his key strengths. However, he also points out a significant difference. Canelo now has much more experience than he did during that Mayweather fight. Over time, he has taken on and defeated top-tier opponents, learned to adapt his style, and developed the patience that was lacking in that earlier bout.
Throw hard, but they don't. They just throw, and he throws like his calculations for the punches and like timing and aiming to the right spots is just like on another level.
Do you think that's going to be the thing that complicates the fight the most for Canelo?
I think so, yeah. And like, yeah, we can go back a little bit to Mayweather Canelo, and Canelo, yeah, Canelo was young and like Mayweather smart, but it can be like familiar fight like that. Even Canelo right now have more experience, and Crawford is still on his prime. So yeah, we'll see.
From just your experience, you knowing boxing, like how do you think the fight will play out? Do you think it'll be a slow fight? Do you think it'll be tactical? Like, do you think Crawford?
I think it's gonna start a little bit slowly. They're gonna be careful with each other just to kind of like measure each other and see where they at. And like they're like, that's why like they're like champs and they're like great ones. They just don't go like crazy like from the first round.
Regis Prograis offers a different perspective. The former world champion doubts that Crawford's punches will significantly affect a naturally bigger fighter with a granite chin like Canelo Alvarez. Prograis points out that Canelo has taken punches from some of the hardest hitters in boxing, many of whom were naturally larger than Crawford, and has shown remarkable resilience. That said, Prograis doesn't entirely rule Crawford out. While he questions the power behind Crawford's shots, he recognizes a Nebraska star's ability to win through skill, smart tactics, and determination. In his view, Crawford's technique is top tier, and his talent for switching stances and executing well-planned strategies makes him a dangerous opponent, even for someone as tough as Canelo.
I think that Crawford has the ability to outbox Canelo. You got to look at it, and then Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, and he can look bigger in. Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always a difference. When you get that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin. He fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference, Jamel looked like the bigger man. His head, his neck, everything looked bigger. But when they got in the fight, you can tell. You can see who really was the bigger man. And I think that's the same thing. Crawford is putting on weight, but it's not weight. Like Canelo had the weight already. He doesn't have to put on muscle. He doesn't have to do that. He's already big like that. But I think that Crawford does have the style. He does have the style to beat him. If you look at the people that beat him or gave him troubles, Irislan, De Lara, Austin Trout, Floyd, and Bivol, they gave him trouble and stuff like that. And Skull moved around a little bit too. So I think that Crawford has that. But I don't know how Crawford is going to respond when he gets hit. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel was undisputed at 154. And Canelo hit him and shit. Jamel was like, hell no. Jamel took a knee. So it's a big difference. And Crawford had that one fight at 154. And he didn't, Madrimov would touch him up a little bit. And this is nowhere close to Madrimov. You talk about Canelo. Now, if it was just another bigger guy, I would go with Crawford. But you talk about this might be, people might kill me for it, but not really, but this might be the best Mexican fighter ever. One of them, at least, right?
Jose Vargas Jr., who has sparred with Terence Crawford, shares a similar skepticism to Prograis. Vargas openly says he doesn't believe Crawford has the power to seriously hurt Canelo, having experienced Crawford's punches firsthand during sparring sessions. While he acknowledges Crawford's sharpness and precision, Vargas feels that Crawford may lack the heavy-handedness needed to challenge someone with Canelo's size and toughness. He also notes that Alvarez has faced and withstood punches from much bigger fighters, casting doubt on whether Crawford can pose the same level of threat. However, Vargas doesn't completely discount Crawford's chances. He understands that power isn't everything. Timing, accuracy, and consistency can wear down even the toughest opponents. Still, in his opinion, Crawford's punches might not be strong enough to stop Canelo from advancing aggressively. That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates. Until next time.